Yes, sir. Are you there? Welcome to the show, Dr. PM Nair, former DG NDRF, Bihar Cadet 1978 officer. He also graced us on the important issue of human trafficking just a day before, and he gave a wonderful outline into what are the various challenges, dimensions, and responses that are needed in India for India to really evolve as a strong superpower. Because all these issues, if not tackled now, we will probably achieve the economical parameters as set by the Honorable Prime Minister. But important issues like human trafficking, internal security, the independence of the central institutions, these are all issues which he has been an expert of. He's also handled various key assignments like the Rajiv Gandhi assassination case, Bofors issues in the CBI. He was the NHRC member, important member. He was, kind of leading the show on the child abuse issue since 1982. Dr. Nair also was the Director General of NDRF. He was also with CRPF, whereas internal issue is a very important subject he handled. And today we're going to request him to take us through the journey of internal security issues in this country, because India has really evolved from the federal perspective as a strong democratic country. And with a strong democracy as our pillar, we also have a strong electoral system and a strong, legislative system which comes through an election process. Various other issues revolving around CRPF. Dr. PM Nair will take us through the various facets and how to really strengthen and reimagine internal security in the next 25 years for India to really become a stable country. Because as we evolve, as social media, enters each and every household, people start getting information, half baked or whatever, fake, whatever. CRPF's role becomes more and more important so as to ensure that there is a free and fair social system which is in place, and people are not able to kind of exploit any kind of law and order issues which cannot be tackled at the state level. CRPF, internal security. Over to you, Dr. PM Nair. Mic is off. Mic is off. Mic is off in both the cases.
Namaskar. Okay, now. Namaskar. Thank you so much for the time. I'll be speaking on a limited aspect of the out-of-the-box initiatives in professionalizing this force called CRPF. Central Reserve Police Force, commonly called Chalte Raho Pyare Force, because they're always mobile. It's a vibrant force. You have variety of human resource in this force, and equipments, and technology, and digital method. It's amazing force. It's perhaps the largest internal security force across the world. You have rapid action force for dealing with riotous situations. You have a Cobra battalion for dealing with Naxalite matters. You have contingent going to Liberia for peacekeeping mission. You have variety of force. You have primary security force. You have internal security force. You have security guards. It's a very interesting force which is to be reckoned with in the national security scenario. Mercifully, Government of India has got a lot of faith and trust, and this force is living up to the expectation of the Government of India. And the prime motto is service before this force. And service means unto the last. With dedication, with commitment, and with integrity. That's a wonderful force called CRPF. Well, let me focus on the professional part of the CRPF a little bit. Many activities are called CRPF called upon to attend to many activities. Jammu Kashmir, terrorism, Northeast terrorism, internal security, Naxalite operations, law and order, etc. Now, when so many issues happen, naturally, when you are on the firing range, when you are facing people facing difficult scenarios, militancy and Naxalism and extremism, you are bound to have a lot of losses too. So we have been facing, CRPF has been facing a lot of losses in several period of time. Somewhere during 2008, many men were lost in the anti-Naxal operations. Many men were lost. So one interesting thing it did was to understand what is the main reason. So we found 85 men were lost in 1 year due to explosion of improvised explosive device, IED. And then that time we started thinking, okay, now let's do what is the methodology. One thing is you have to create manpower trained for dealing with the scenario. Number two, to augment the special equipments. Number three is to get the dogs on training. And number three is to get the professional training carried out. All agencies to understand the challenges. To understand the challenges, we need to have research. Integration of research with action. Integration of action with research is very, very important in reforming any system, government or non-government. So here we did a micro research and the action plan was developed. And one of the action plan was to set up 5 professional specialized training institutions. One is IED Management Institution, Pune. Today, we have a world-class improvised explosive device management institute, Indian Institute of IED Management in Pune. The Home Minister of India was requested to come and launch it, and Home Minister did that. The government approvals all come later, but we want to move on. So we set up world-class institute. It has got all types of explosives from the time immemorial. The case study is there, the laboratory is there, the field is there, the training equipments are there, training place is there, and resource materials are there, both digital and online, offline. So that's very interesting. A commendable institute called the IED Management Institute. Institute of IED Management in Pune has been set up. It's doing great job. They have trained of law enforcement officials from Myanmar, from Nepal, from several other countries, including Western countries. Second one is when you go for operations, the Naxalites and the militants tend to hide somewhere very, very stealthily, and then when the forces move, they explode. We have instances where the police vehicle, the CRP vehicle, is moving in the Dantewada region, and one vehicle goes, second vehicle goes, and third or the fourth vehicle must be civilian vehicle. We don't disturb them. And the fifth vehicle may be a CRPF vehicle, and that vehicle gets blasted. So how does the person sitting there know which is a civilian vehicle, which is a police vehicle? They naturally understand. Now, how do they do the explosion? So there is a mechanism by which they do the IED explosion. So what we should do is to understand the IEDs. Instead of more than understanding the IEDs, we need to understand the men there. Somebody is hiding there. How do we detect a person, human being hiding there? Very interesting. We found that Malinois dogs, very specialized breed of dogs, can smell human beings from a distance of 250 meters. If it is too hot, it will be around 220 to 230. If it is too cold, it will be again a little more this side or that side. But 250 meters distance, any human being present there, that the smell of the human being can be detected by these Malinois dogs. So what we did was we set up a training center, a dog breeding and training center. The Home Secretary was very happy. He said, yes, let's get moving on that. He did all the evaluation, the available trainings, dog breeding training in the various paramilitaries, etc., and very innovative. We started from the scratch. Instead of creating air-conditioned bungalows, we made the dogs live in normal situation. We made the dogs live in ordinary shanties. Men also live with them. So men have to live with the dogs. And we started the 10 dogs. Male dog is called sire, female is called dam. So we started with 6 sire and 4 sire and 6 dam, means of 4 male dogs and 6 female dogs way back in 2010. Today, the progeny, the one after another increase and addition, etc. Together, we have more than 1,000 dogs today on deployment. 1,000 dogs have been deployed today. It's a great strength to the forces, because whenever the force moves, the dog goes there. If anybody is sitting anywhere near, dog will stand there and lend its ears to that side. When the dog lends ears to that side, it's obvious that there is somebody sitting there, and the forces can go around different ways and surround the area, and the man runs away or he's caught. So that's very interesting to innovative mechanism of including a dog, a specialized breed of dog into the system. Third thing is we did was something we need to have in jungle warfare, we need to have a specialized training school. We started the counter-insurgency and jungle warfare school in Belgaum. It started again from scratch. It was just a jungle land. It was a barren land with ups and downs. And today you should go and see it's a world-class institution set up by the officers in CRPF, working day and night, a world-class institution where the Cobra is being trained. You may have heard of Cobra. Cobra is a specialized force to deal with Naxalite operations and militancy operations. They are all being trained in CIJWS Belgaum. Then we also set up something called intelligence school. Intelligence has to be done by the state government. But when you are operational ground, you need to have intelligence. Let me give an example. When we went to Lalgarh, you must have heard about Lalgarh in West Bengal, where in 2008 December, the Naxalites blasted a vehicle of Mr. Ramvilas Paswan and Mr. Budhe Bhattacharya, and they created a lot of havoc by injuring badly several security men. The two honorable ministers escaped by the skin of their teeth, and then they found so much violence there. They are following this entire incident, and thereafter the entire area was liberated by the Naxalites and declared this as liberated land. Very interestingly, the Home Secretary came after that. Home Secretary said, nothing doing. Our land is not to be liberated. It's government of India land. Indians, subcontinent Indian land has to be with the Indians. It cannot be with liberated as some Naxalite sitting there. No. So we have to capture land. We did a very, very painstaking assessment. Very, very painstaking assessment. That's very important. Do your research and do action. Do your research and then action. We did a very intensive research for a short period of 1.5 months, came back with a plan, and the entire planning was done. What I'm going to say is here that intelligence started coming in. When you go into the system, when you walk along with the system, when you cultivate the people there, we went into a very interesting activity of working along with the people. That's another interesting part of accommodating people, winning the hearts and minds of people. I'll come to that a little while later. But this particular model of intelligence collection was developed by CRPF. It made a huge difference, The fifth school which we could start was a training academy for Rapid Action Force. In fact, I was wanting to call it as the National Academy of Public Order Management for the SDMs and the subdivisional magistrates also to be trained. Even now they can be trained. It's one of the prime institutions in India. You have law and order scenarios. You have subdivisional magistrates and executive magistrates on deployment. They are mandated under the law, CRPC. Are they being trained to do that? No. The SDM comes there and the SDM says, you have heard about one SDM saying, Sir Fordo. That's not the way. That SDM is not because he doesn't know what he's talking. I would squarely put it as a lack of training. So when the SDM saying people pass out of the academy, IAS Academy and other academies, they should be trained, they should be oriented, they should be skilled. So this academy can take on the entire training of executive magistrates and law and order scenarios. So what I try to say is 5 professional institutions which have withstood the test of time. Today, they are classic examples of the Indian National Reserve of the CRPF, the National Crime Reserve Force. All these 5 institutions are great embodiments of initiative based on research, action, institutionalization, and now they have come to stay. So a full cycle is done. A full cycle: requirement, assessment, research, action, implementation, evaluation, and institutionalization. The entire cycle is complete. Now, the second point I want to add on to this, the winning the hearts and minds of people. We have heard about so many methodologies, soft methodologies like distributing compels and distributing wheelchairs and distributing cycles. But we thought we'll do something very, very more robust. You know what the CRPV did was? The Naxalism was taken at the main core. When there are not many Naxalites also die, civilian CRP also dies. In an encounter in 2008, we found that the dead body of Naxalites showed that there were girls of 16 and 18 years, 16 and 17 years of age. Now, under the law, Juvenile Justice Act, any person who has not attained the age of 18 is a child. The question before us was, is it a child or is it an Naxalite? Both are true. Now, when the bullet goes, it doesn't know who, gender and people, etc. It can go anywhere. When somebody is firing at you and CRP has to return the fire, that time it can hit anybody. Therefore, now question was, what do we do? We thought we should adopt a track to diplomacy also, a track to method also, not diplomacy, track to method also. What is that? On the one side, you go for full prepared actions, right? Encounters and planned operations based on intelligence. If there is encounter comes, face them. On the other side, what we did was very quietly involve the civil society. Involve the civil society across the different states like Jharkhand, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, and Maharashtra. We involve the civil society and to understand whether the people are into Naxals, are they ready to come back or not? We are not talking about the 50s and 60s. We are talking about the 18s and 20s. If those women and boys and youngsters, adolescents, are they ready to come back or not? Answer was very big, yes. Number two, we told this NGO, civil society, please go and check what all jobs can they get. Job assessment. Again, took some time, maybe 15 days, 1 month. We found what jobs are available. Then we got onto the mission, very subtle mission, very quiet mission of informing these people to come out very quietly, and we trained them. Several hundreds of women and hundreds of men, young women and children, young men and women were trained as security guards, carpenters, industrial stitching people, housekeeping people, house guards, the internet service providers, telephone repair, drivers, masons, and so on. Today, you can find several of them. I would not like to place where they are posted because of their security reasons, but they are doing a great job. You know, how do you get these young women and children out, young women and persons out? Because we approach them and we made a positive approach to them. Got the civil society into them. So if the civil society can be brought into this action, this is a very classic model where we have given them life of dignity. We have given them life of respect. We have given them a vocation, a sustainable vocation. We have given a livelihood option where they have permanency. Many of them trained by us are doing industrial stitching in several places. You know what industrial stitching is? All the branded shirts or the apparel which you wear, which different types of apparel which you wear, maybe have branded for somewhere in the European countries, but many of them are being stitched in places in India. Could be Noida, could be Bhubaneswar, could be Rourkela, could be somewhere. Who are these people who are stitching them? We train them. You know, these people have amazing skills. These people have amazing skills. To understand the skills, train them, orient them, and the skill training is not 1 day. It may take 3 months full time or 6 months full time. Fair enough. That's investment. After that, they are not Naxalites. They are not for sale. They are not for exploitation. They are true champions of the government. Today, they are all ambassadors of peace. Imagine one girl from a village recruited as an industrial stitching, having a decent job and life and dignity. That girl goes to the village and tells people, don't fight. There is no, don't waste your time in fighting with this and that. Bloodless. There's no need for shedding blood. All the so-called revolutions, revolutions, the blood and bullet are meaningless. There are better ways of doing things. So this message we went around. And last but not the least, we thought of getting them recruited into CRP and the paramilitary forces. Amazing work was done. Imagine one tribal girl from the interior of Sukma in Chhattisgarh, recruited as a lady constable. Today, she is doing a smart job in the Republic Day parade or any parade for that matter, as good as any man. She can do anything. She can carry any weapon. She's capable of doing everything. Not only that, that girl is today an ambassador of peace. That girl is a true representative of the government of India. The girl is true representative of the Constitution. The girl is true representative of peace and humankind. So we have made a huge difference in that way by not only winning the hearts and minds of people, but giving them permanent and stable employment, which is the most important initiative in addressing this issue of national security. Thank you.
Dr. PM Nair, a few interactions. One is, what would you have to say to the role of CRPF in issues apart from the Naxal, handling of the Naxal crisis? We will probably have another show with you on the handling of the Naxalite problems. But and how things have fared in the last 7 years, what is the way forward? Because it was a very big Achilles heel in the Indian ecosystem. Today, in the electoral process, for example, West Bengal has a lot of issues from violent elections. What role does CR? Because just a couple of days back, BJP, the opposition party's plea in the Supreme Court was rejected to have the CRPF handle the currently underway corporate elections in West Bengal. So, what roles does CRPF have in such situations?
See, one thing we must remember, CRPF is a political force. We have no politics whatsoever. Sincerely, no politics whatsoever. True to the constitution. True to the constitution. When you are with the government, we work for the government. Work for the government means what? All laws have to become. The government makes laws and policies. We comply with the laws and policies. That's our job and mandate. We swear by the constitution to be neutral. We remain neutral. We swear by the constitution to ensure implementation of the laws and procedures, and we do that. Whether you may like it or not, that's a different issue. And we don't go by any political party for that matter. I have lived in my 35 years in IPS and served CRPF for 7.5 years. I am yet to find a person who is politically oriented. I'm telling you sincerely, not even one human being there. He may have his affinity to some party which he goes for elections. That's a different issue. In 35 years in my IPS, I never voted for any party. I conducted elections. 11 elections I conducted. I did not go for voting. You know why? I said, heart of hearts, I should be neutral. If I go and vote for a party, my mind will say, hey, you have voted for this party. I don't want even that. It may be good or bad. But the point I'm trying to make is, many of us, if you scratch from within, we are neutral, 100% neutral. 99% is that way. 1% aberrations can always take place. Therefore, these allegations against CRPF being supporting one party, another party, I think it is incorrect. The government of India's force, we go by the government of India's mandate, we go by the legal systems, we go by the constitutional provisions, and that's all. And now you ask about other duties of CRPF. Let me give an example. Well, I was handling the entire operations. A message came from the police chief of a state in down south, Kerala. He said there is a lot of communal issue there, and I find a lot of writings on the wall. Tomorrow is going to be a serious communal right in a particular place, very important city in Kerala, and we need to get to RIF. And this message comes around 10:30 night. We have rapid action force in Coimbatore. We requested the Air Force to give us a aircraft, and overnight we flew in rapid action force men. 5 in the morning, when the people woke up, they found RAF vehicles and RAF men smartly in uniform there. And the message was very simple, loud and clear. Beware. That's all. We are not to harm you, but we are here to ensure peace. We are here to ensure peace. And the DGP calls up in the evening and says, thank you. Everything is done. There was no commotion whatsoever. See, the fear of action is very important. Fear of action is very important. We unnecessarily go into and meddle affairs, issues can come. Keep away. Understand, observe, and take and ensure law. Law is supreme, constitution is supreme. If that's a mandate, I think we can take it forward. This is actually being done, and this is always being done. Thank you.
Minority sentiments were fueled very effectively by one of the political parties in the erstwhile in the immediately concluded state assembly elections in West Bengal. I'm just naming the state because this comes to my memory immediately. Now, CRPF people from the minority areas were all seen on public display on television channels being thrown out by the communities there. What recourse does CRPF have if they are not able to control a crowd?
See, the point to make here is very simple. Public is innocent. Public is innocent. Public go by perception. So somebody creates a wrong perception. The fault lies not in the public or not in the CRPF. The people who create the perception. So what we people like, we educated people should do is identify those people who are creating a wrong perception and seclude them, and then get the larger public along with the peacekeeping forces. Job is done. This is what force leaders have to do. I have also faced a lot of situations when I was in the field in Bihar. I am from the Bihar cadre. and communal situations emerge. If you identify this fellow is a dangerous character in religion A, and this fellow is a dangerous and religious B, you know what we did? We identify the fellow and put A fellow as a magistrate, honorary magistrate in the other part, and we put a B fellow honorary magistrate in the A part. It look like a foolish thing, but I tell you, mad problems require mad solution also. We found it's working well. He was made honorary magistrate, told him, boss, this is a job responsibility, put a band magistrate, and he was supposed to create confusion there. Now he is maintaining law and order here. You know, you can always think beyond the box. You can think out of the box. The force leaders the local police leaders there have to apply their mind. They want peace, 100 ways are there. So what we should do is identify the people who create a wrong perception, separate them, and let the public, the peace-loving public are always there, and let them live in peace. Force is always there to ensure peace also. Thank you.
So here we will be concluding soon because we are short of time. We started a little late. Yeah, you're talking about the issues which get the turbulence which is caused by the internal issues by the people inside the house. But when it comes to people from outside the house, in those situations, how does CRPF play a role?
Very important question. The elements can be from within, elements can be from without. Those elements were coming inside has been a major problem for us in the Northeast as well as in the J&K sector. You know, there a lot depends on your collateral forces. In J&K, the army, the RR battalions, the BSF, the CRPF, the Jammu Kashmir police have to work together. That synergy should be complete. That convergence should be complete. If there is any crack somewhere, that is capitalized by the terrorists or the militants. In Northeast also, the CRPF has to be in complete sync with the different state police agencies as well as intelligence agencies of the government and the state police. You know, this synergy is something which the force leaders have to bring in. It cannot be done by anybody else sitting in Delhi or anywhere else. The force leaders who have to work overtime to get the synergy. When the synergy is complete, the army has got tremendous intelligence. BSF has got wonderful intelligence. CRP also has got intelligence. If all the intelligence, J&K police has got intelligence. If all the four intelligence can conclude and converge, then they find what is the real picture. And a concerted action can make a difference. I think wherever we have succeeded, it's because of the joint efforts, because of the concerted action, because of the synergy in action.
You were also DG BSF, if I am...
No, I was not in BSF.
But any which ways, recently the BSF has been in the news for having, implemented the 50 kilometers rule at the Indo-Bangladesh border instead of the 10 kilometers or 5 kilometers that they have. Now, does it not clash with the authority of the CRPF?
See, I have to understand the nuances of the rule. Wherever BSF is there, it's a government of India force. And it does not say that no other force can enter. That is not at all. It's a wrong myth. When you have a narcotics control bureau going into detecting the narcotics, the state government narcotics bureau has also equally jurisdiction. The local SHO has got so much jurisdiction. So nobody is taking away the right of the people. We have given an extra mile to the border guarding force. That does not mean the CRP jurisdiction has been taken away. That will be in the best interest of the government. They were taken a decision to allow one particular force also to have a superior hand in handling the situation. That's all. And that to a particular situation, not for maintaining law and order, but for militancy operations.
Globally, how would you rate CRPF?
One of the best forces in the world. One of the best forces in the world. You know, with the encomiums which they get from outside, especially encomiums they get from outside. When the Liberian contingent comes back, I will be surprised to know that the Liberian the honorable the president of Liberia, the lady president, Madam found our girls, Liberian contingent of girls doing magnificent work. So she sent a message, I would like to have women in Liberian police recruited. Our people went there and trained them and oriented them. You know, the Liberian women contingent was created thanks to the CRPF girls who are on Liberian contingent. You know, amazing work. The appreciation across the world, wherever they go, within the country. I told you about the incident in Kerala where the presence itself was more than enough. You know, how did you contain Naxalism? I told you that not only operations, but the other part also, they are the part behind. So it's a combination of a strategy, combination of tactics, and combination of thinking, and combination of perseverant action. We are not here to kill people. Even if the fellow is firing bullets, firing grenade at you, we are not. We are not. The rule doesn't say go and kill them. We have to find out why he is doing that, how you handle. It's a law enforcement scenario. We are facing a law enforcement scenario. We are not facing an enemy on the border, unlike the army. So therefore, the strategy and the tactics adopted by CRP is completely within the constitutional limits, and also from the human rights perspective. Thank you.
Natural disasters, okay, but man-made disasters, you've been a DG NDRF. CRPF's role does come very handy, I'm sure, in case of Bhopal gas tragedy and those kind of issues. You were probably, you will be able to throw some light on the disaster management aspects.
Well, as a DG NDRF, I found it is not only the NDRF. We had 10 battalions now. We have now 14 battalions now. So that battalions they are all stationed in several places. You know, the first and foremost is to make the villagers disaster resilient. That was what we were doing. Dhubri in Assam, Supol in Bihar. You know, flood every year, flood affected. You go there, spend time with them when there is no flood. Tell them how resilience can be brought in. Community, the panchayats, everybody. So that there you require first and foremost civilians. Number two, there's the local community, means panchayats. And then comes the local police, then comes the local government, and then comes the CRPF and the other paramilitary forces in that place. And then finally comes the entire police systems. So we start from the bottom onwards and go upwards. Not that you get the national force and come down. You know, for a bottom to up approach, top down approach, or a bottom upwards approach was the best thing we could do in creating disaster resilience in many places where disaster was always happening there.
We will be discussing disaster management in a separate show today. Today, the final 1 or 2 questions. So if you just 2 minutes, sir, just 1 or 2 more minutes. One is, how important is decentralization?
Decentralization?
Like NSG had an issue with centralization till the 2611 happened. Then it was decentralized. But similarly, CRPF, is it having decentralized basis in the country?
No, CRPF is a national force. The one battalion today can be sent to Assam, and the day after tomorrow, the same battalion can come to Jammu Kashmir, and the fourth day they can even come to Kanyakumari. So it's a nationalized force. You take any company of any CRPF battalion, you'll find one from Rajasthan, one from Punjab, one Sadaji, one Madrasi, one Jammu Kashmir. All those people are there. It's a very interesting combination. It's a mini India. So it's a national force. So all those narrow concepts of decentralization won't work here. It will be a national force. Wherever they can be deployed, they can be deployed.
What I was trying to find out is whether we have emergency led kind of CRPF kind of small, what is
yes. Across the country. Very good. I got the question now. Across the country, in every state, we have located group centers and CRPF battalions. Everywhere. Right from the Tawang in Arunachal. You come down to Madurai in Tamil Nadu, you go to Palanpur in Rajasthan, and you find Baramulla there in JNK. We have CRP battalions established now. Earlier, they used to move around, but 2008, we decided to make them stable, give them proper headquarters. So they are not going up and down. Now they all got fantastic bases. Battalion headquarters are there, and headquarters are very well settled. In 90% of the places, state governments have given land to them. 10% only we have to buy land. It's well decentralized.
Like 2008 was a landmark year in I think in terms of various key decisions being taken from a forces perspective. Even the NSG got decentralized thereafter, after what happened in Mumbai. 5 suggestions for the Honorable Prime Minister to implement so that we can be in better position. They're coming from the lens of the former DG.
Well, I was not DG in CRPF, I was special DG only, and I was DG in NDRF, but special DG in CRPF. With my experience, Honorable Prime Minister is Prime Minister. He has got his own ideas and wisdom, and there are so many people to advise. from my humble perspective, I would simply say that first and foremost is that it's a time the entire scenario has changed in a digital world. Now we need to think not to the warfare on the ground level. We need to think of the digitalized methodology of internal security. Means what? All the security related issues have to come on the digital world. We need to prepare the data lake, and the machines should start telling us. The artificial intelligence and machine learning process has to come in. It is not rocket science. Machines will know, but we have to only feed the machine, get the machine. So we need to digitalize the entire internal security scenario, internal security apparatus. Of course, information cannot be shared with the armed public. Fair enough, restricted to only people who should have access, but there is a need for digitalizing the entire national security issues, internal security issues, whereby and the action plan can be devised accordingly without difficulty. And number two would be the entire CRPF operations wherever they are happening today, they are across the country. The issue of a public relationship, issue of working along with the public. The way you have in civil police, you have a public police interface. You have civilian policing there. CRP cannot have civilian policing, but that network, that convergence has to be facilitated in all the states. CRPF should work as a friend of the force. They should become the leaders of the force. When we go to 2009, when we used to walk into Lalgarh, you find out every woman you find to give a salute. Every child you give a salute, bache pranam, and you move on. They started calling Hindustani Fauj aa gaya. They were so happy to hear, because there was a lot of assault by certain police sections earlier. They were so happy, mighty happy. Hindustani Fauj aa gaya. We were called Fauj. Army. Fauj means army. Fair enough. Let them call what they want. But that attraction to the masses came when you start working along with them. How many children were being given midday meals? How many children were being taught in the CRPF camp in Santali language? Identify Santali constables and all them. And that made a lot of difference. So facilitate this public perception building, public image building, and public work. It should be monitored. It's not money should be squandered or wasted. It should be on institution building, and it should be on activities which can make a lifelong impact, not a short-term impact. I think these are two things which we can consider in the days to come. Not audible. Not audible.
Wonderful to have heard you today on the CRPF issues. There are constraints of time, but it is always better than not knowing anything. From the lens of the DG, Special DG CRPF, this was a wonderful monologue. This will be, one of the series on various other issues that we'll discuss with you, sir, in the days coming ahead. NDRF issues, and then CBI, etc., etc. Look forward to meeting you again. Thank you so much, Nair Saab. Jai Hind, Namaskar.
Jai Hind. Jai Hind.